This meeting is being live streamed. The host. A. Context menu pin. Space. Speech on demand.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Greetings, 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 wherever you're joining us live from the Eagles Perch. My name is Oluwakemi Odusoya, and on this platform, I am regularly called Your Royal Highness, the Queen of the Eagles. Like, I'm so happy to join us today, and I have, wonderful guests with us. However, I'll just employ us to just give me like 1 minute so I can spotlight the people and you get to know who I have as guests today. Okay, so we have Joy, who is our sign language interpreter. So I've spotlighted Joy right now. Okay, so that is our sign language interpreter. In case you're just wondering why is our fingers flickering, it is called sign language, and it is a communication way for deaf or hard of hearing persons. Right. So our next person would be Adekoya Rasak. It is a very, I don't know, but you see, when I want to introduce him, it's always very hard, but I don't have any choice. I'm just trying to get things settled here before. Okay. All right, great. So, Joseph, can you confirm at your hand if you can see us very well?
I can see you all, but I would encourage Mr. Razak to find an alternate source of lighting because his face is kind of blacked out right now.
Interesting.
I can only see I can see your outline, but not your features.
Can you see me better now?
Would you happen to have something to put in front of your
What do you think?
your camera? Maybe like a light facing directly
To the
your
camera.
face. Yeah, it could be like a torch light or a lamp or something like that.
How about now? Is the
Okay.
lightning still the same?
Is the lightning better now?
It's not great. It's still the same pretty much. Yeah.
So we can't see his face, right?
And what about now?
Okay, yeah, this is much better, yes. Much better.
I'll
Okay.
need to change my sitting position.
All right, that's fine. You can take your time. So while he's doing that,
It's fine
Joy,
now. Just to be sure.
okay. Joseph, is it fine now?
Yes. Yes.
All right,
But
let's go ahead.
your face is not exactly in the center. I think you should bend your laptop screen a bit. You are still not.
Okay, and now?
Not yet. Kind of hovering. It's more towards your chest. Yeah, now I can just see your chest.
Okay, don't worry.
It's technical issues, yes, so it's fine.
What about now? Can you see me
higher
now?
up, higher up. No, that's better. Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you for the patience. Joy, are you there? Can you see signs, Joseph? Can you see Joy's hand?
Yes, I
Joy,
can see
can
her
you
very
say how are
clearly.
you? Okay, beautiful. Great. So let's kickstart the show in 3, 2, 1. So once again, my name is the Queen of the Eagles, Your Royal Highness. So today we'll be talking about Joseph, you can mute your mic. Thank you. So today we'll be talking about you know, Labor Day. Yes, May 1 happens to be the International Labor Day, and a lot of people have said a lot of things. Many things has happened, and we just want to know exactly what is going on. And we have a perfect match when it comes to inclusion. We're talking about disability, or even mainstreaming disability in today's economy. We have a perfect somebody for that discussion in person of Mr. Adekoya. Rasak. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Eagles Pet.
Let me follow the protocol. Good afternoon, Your Highness. Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you very much for crossing all the hurdles and being here with us today. So I have our sign language interpreter again in person of Joy. Joy, can you say something verbally so people can get to hear you? If you can, or if you can't, it's fine. All right, so we move on. Eagles Perch, let's start with the introduction. Eagles Perch is a place where we unscriptedly talk about issues that happen on a daily basis. It could be professional, it could be economical, it could be, relationship, it could be career-wise, anything. But we all revolve it around inclusion. Oh, Joy's network is a bit bad. So we all revolve it around inclusion. And the reason for this is because quite a number of people have said, yes, persons with disabilities are the marginalized and even the vulnerable. All right, thank you. So, a lot of people have said persons with disability are the marginalized. And okay, Joy, I'm waiting for Joy to start her video so that we can.
Sorry, network locked me out. I'm back.
Yeah, that's fine. I understand now. Can you start your video?
Started.
Okay. All right. So, okay, great. So I've spotlighted you now. All right. So at Eagles Perch, we talk about everything that has to do with life in general, and we mainstream into disability issues. And this is because we've come to realize that persons with disabilities are marginalized in the society, and little or more is talked about them. And that is why Eagles Perch, right, has come to stay. This is where we unscriptively discuss these issues in a comfortable manner. And at Eagles Perch, we divide our sections into 3 stages. We have the reality stage, which is the stage 1. It goes for 20 minutes. We have the comfortable section, which is the stage 2, goes for 20 minutes. And the last stage is the roosting stage, right? Just like the eagle, we roost, right? And this is where we lightly discuss issues. So let's start with the very first question, right? Let's get to know who Mr. Rasak is, right? He will be the one to describe or tell us about himself. So I won't have to shoot, an unimaginable gun. So over to you, Mr. Rasak. Can we get to meet you, please?
Thank you very much. Thank you. My name is Rasak Adekoya. I work as an inclusion specialist, and I work within the interface of economic inclusion as well as within the interface of social development. I work with an organization called Site Savers currently as a technical advisor, supporting a couple of countries across Africa. And I'm an author of 4 books. I think probably I should keep it simple.
You see, it's at your last statement, I'm wondering, Eagle, when are you going to start writing? Author of 4 books. I don't have one to myself. Well, it's good. That's diversity for you. So basically, you talked about something interesting. You are a social, like an economic empowerment person, all about the social enterprise, all about social development. And these are great things that we really need to talk about. So to start with, the labor market in today's economy, what is your take about inclusion when it has to do with the labor market in today's economy?
So I think it's a different stage. If you look at the entire labor market in its entirety, regardless of inclusion from a disability, from a gender lens, there are different points and perspectives from there. If you look at it from the general economy, you'll see that our economy is struggling. Inflation is really going high. As December last year, it was 28.9%. I think as February or March, it was around 32%. But that does not mean that is the real inflation. I know Nigerian Bureau of Statistics relates it yesterday that what it takes an average Nigerian to eat a daily LD meal. I think for Lagos, about 1,003. The average for the country is about Naira 2 Naira. There's a lot of challenge and the cost of this, probably the dollar to Naira exchange, looking at the fact that the current government is not trying to do what we call the pegging system, but rather want the market to determine and so you see a lot of challenges. People who want to import things, including things like assistive devices, the customer have to change the rate for the dollar 28 times this year alone, within January to April 30th.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of issues. Unemployment, you look at it in our own climb, the CBN has increased the interest rates. And what that does is that once the interest rate increase, is a way of curbing inflation. The implication of that in the country is that employers will not be able to take loan from the bank because it will likely not be too favorable. And because they cannot take loan, it means they cannot increase their production. And because they cannot increase production, unemployment would continue. They'll have to lay off staff as a way of kind of meeting up because they are not expanding in some instances. And when more people are laid off, it has an implication on the employment. For other countries, they would have rather find ways to reduce unemployment as a way of bridging the gap of inflation. But Nigeria, I think the approach we do take is increasing the interest rates. So it's a lot of balancing the equilibrium. So how does this affect an average person's with disability? And I'll speak to that. Before now, I think we've always said people with disability are likely, twice as likely more, not to be participating in the labor market. The average data has used to be the fact that about 65% of people with disabilities within the age range, and we need to clear that,
Yeah.
age range, the labor working force age,
Yeah.
which is age 18 and above, are those 65% of that numbers are not active within the labor market. And for those who are active, how many of them are even employed? The definition of active is not what we'll be going into on this call. But how does that also do in the other way around? What that means is that when employers are struggling to hire people, they only want to maintain staff, even if they need to hire, they'll be looking
Yeah.
at their costs. If I need to hire a person with disability, what's the extra cost for me? I'll start needing to make workplace adjustment because those systems and facilities are not there by default. Probably if they were there before now, then that would not be a question of discussion because it would have been there by default. So it allows the system to flow regardless of who is coming in or the disability type of the person who is coming in. That's the first point there. The second point you looked at it is that when people cannot even complete their tertiary education or let me use tertiary
Yeah.
education. How will they be able to come out to actively participate? We are still in a country that is more
Yeah.
tilted towards certificates and not certificate alone. And what that means is that an average person with disability needs to at least have a degree, with very few having a tertiary education. So that's an additional implication to persons with disability in this regard. What that then does is that when people with disability cannot graduate, how do they transit to finding jobs? Also, to speak a bit in addition to that, how will people with disability be able to acquire their assistive devices that they will need to even use in the workplace or to complete their education or their independent life when the import duty rate continue to increase as a result of the volatility of the foreign exchange markets? Yeah, so let me break that down. Dollar is going up, meaning that you need more naira to be able to buy what you used to buy before in dollar. So before, maybe you need 400 naira to buy that item that
Yeah.
cost $1. So if that item costs $500 with 200,000 naira, you are able to buy it. But now, because the dollar has gone, let's even say 1,000 naira, which is, it has never come to that. Let's now say 1,002. So that thing you used to buy, which is $500 and it costs 200 naira, 200,000 plus before. If you need to buy it now, the implication of that is that you need about 600,000 plus to get it, if not more. So there's about 200% or 200% plus increase in what you used to buy. So those are some of the issues affecting and that will continue to affect the inclusion of people with disability. However, do we say everything is bad? No. It does not mean the whole situation is not moving. If we look at it retrospectively, are we where we used to be before? No. We are already also seeing, as a result of some works that have been done by different actors in the past 4 or 5 years, a change. Few additional companies are now rising up to become example for other people. To kind of see that, yes,
Yeah.
inclusion with the workplace is possible. So that's the challenge. Entrepreneurship is a problem, and it's not just a problem to people with disability in Nigeria. And the real problem continues to be access to skills, access to finance, access to market opportunities, and access to market intelligence. So these are 4 kind of issues that continue to affect people with disability, particularly in the entrepreneurship space. Issues of accessing loans and many. So let me pause there. But there are diverse issues. Are we where we want to be? No. Are we where we are? Is it bad? Yes. But are we seeing actors changing? Yes. Are they large in numbers? No. But does this have a multiplier effect? Yes. So we just need to continue pushing. Let me pause there.
Wow. Thank you very much. Like, I am speechless. You know, there's a quote that says, follow person with Sabi road. That is why I am following the ladder right now, because he has said everything, right? However, I still need to touch on few other things. In case you are just tuning in, it's Eagles Perch, where we unscriptively discuss things that happen on a daily basis and we revolve it around disability inclusion. And our guest today is no other person but Mr. Rasak Adekoya, who is an expert in social development, economic empowerment, working in the development sector, and manages several countries within Africa and beyond. You see that I follow somebody we know. All right. So in case you're wondering, how is he able to talk about this thing comfortably without blinking? Yes, I'll tell you. There is a person with a visual impairment. It would identify maybe later on if it prefers to be called a visually impaired person or a blind person, right? Where he has, an impairment in his eye. So he knows where it pinches. He wears the shoes and understand where it pinches. Now, at this juncture, I would like to ask this question. How do we promote talent with disability in the employment sector? sector? How do we get to, promote them to access employment? But before you answer that question, please, if you have any comment, any question that is burning, please put them in the comment section, and I'm sure we will do justice to that now or whenever the program ends. So over to you, Mr. Razak. How do we promote talent into the employment sector, talent with disabilities?
So, we need to look at it from diverse angles. Let's take a back step. And the first point is we need to first ask ourselves, what would make talent attractive to employers? Skills, education, because there's difference between people having credentials and people to be able to demonstrate those credentials.
Good.
The credential part, has to do with the fact that people have the certificates that they can use. I think more actors have spent too much time in the child education, inclusive education at early childhood, the nursery and primary. I think we also now need to start paying attention. What's the essence of people going to primary, secondary, and they are not transiting into the university? And what's the essence of people transiting into the university and they are not graduating? I think we need to do more in that point between transiting people from secondary to universities. Of course, this is not peculiar to people with disability alone, but if you look at the population of people with disability going into tertiary education and completing it, it's a huge chunk. And when people do not graduate, also in that space, we also need to pay more attention to what exactly are people studying in their private secondary school, let alone going into university. Too much of people being limited, either on an individual basis, also as a result of the institutional barriers, where we see a lot of people with disability, not just for a particular impairment, are limited to studying particular courses. Social, you find more within arts, education, very few in the legal, and very, very few in, you rarely find that's a very minute number within the STEM related, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Of course, I admitted the fact that there is an institutional barrier there, but I also really feel we need to do more by encouraging and providing career guidance for people with disability to forge ahead and not to be limited by what they hear or what they see. It does not mean there are no opportunities there. But then there is the demonstration part, which is the skills, because we also know that this is not just an issue for people with disability. Many people without disability go to school, have certificates, but they don't have the skills. And that's where we also need to invest more and continue to retrain our people to have the necessary soft skills and technical skills. That is not negotiable. Because, yes, I might be a person with disability, but I'm sorry, I will not hire you because you have disability when you have no skills. I won't. I will not want to bring in anybody that will become a burden to me or who cannot deliver if I am sitting on a hiring panel. So we should not bring the disability scorecard forward, but rather to bring the talent and say, hey, yes, my disability has its own influence or impact on the way I do job. But rather see me that I'm still able to deliver the job in another way or another format legally and still be able to deliver the result. That's the way you should just look at this from. Mr. A want to follow part B, Mr. B want to follow part A, as long as both of them can get to the finish line legally. Yeah, and they are delivering the results. So that's the part there when it comes to education. And then when people then need to connect to employers, I also think people also need to start thinking, if we need to promote the talent, we need to showcase the best and the best of our hands. We still need to tell more stories. How does disability, when people have people with disability in their workplace, what does it mean to you as an employer? What is the positivity? What value does it have to you? Yeah. We need to tell those stories more from numbers because employers want to hear stories from numbers. That's very, very important. We have a lot of myths, a lot of assumptions, a lot of, oh, disability is expensive. Who told you? Yeah, we have all of that we need to kind of change. Only specific disability can work. How will he go? How will he do this? How will people don't know, and we can't blame them. And more often, what we have is that because people don't know, sometimes we think everybody is discriminating. And in the reality, not everybody is discriminating. When people don't know, we can't blame them. So that's another point that we really kind of need to think through and speak against, to show more examples, to tell people how it is possible, and not just fighting people for not giving us a chance. We still need to educate them more. I have come to realize a couple of employers want to be inclusive or disability inclusive, but they just don't know how to. I think that's very germane in the space and the work that we are doing. I also think there's need to learn more from the women folks. You can look at the think tank and the financial institution now. Access Bank, led by a CEO, that's Access, so the Zenith Bank by a woman. I think, if my memory serves me well, GTP, Union Bank, I think Standard Chartered, if I'm not right or wrong on that. But you see many banks now, their heads are CEOs. It's a long walk, but we are seeing that germinating, manifesting. And all the narratives have changed. Train a woman, you train a nation. If you train a man, maybe they'll say, we don't know the right word for that. But it's because of the narrative they put out there. And the gender movement have really got that, particularly the women folks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's more to learn from that. I'm sure there's a session coming up soon around that very, 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 very soon. So let me pause there. Back to you.
Okay, that has been a lot because in the community where I'm also I mean I'm a visually impaired person. I like to identify myself as a blind lady because I can't see anything. So you we realize that there are little, like very little quantifiable number of women who have diverse impairment, and when it comes to skill acquisition, like we are very minimal. Quantity versus quality, we are little. I mean, we are more, but quality versus quantity, we are, at the lower volume at that point. And this will bring me to the question. It's just like, it's the space we are in. When we talk of disability, three causes come to talk when it comes to education. And I'm wondering, how does that translate to employment? The first one is lawyers. Like if you want to go to school, they'll tell you study law because either you study law or mass communication or even special education. Special education is even the top one, followed by law, followed by mass communication or any other education courses. And I've been wondering, is this really what is required in the professional or career journey without a disability? If we're able to remove the disability sector and say, okay, employment space, when it comes to gaining meaningful and dignified employment. What do you say about this? Having persons with disability to study special education, law, or even mass communication. What's your view on this?
I know people who study these courses might not agree with me, but please, and I say it again, bring your fact forward. Law,
Wow.
mass comm, educators, special education, they are not among the top 3 or among the top 20 demanding jobs in any emerging and developing countries. Please quote me and quote me again.
Wow.
Law, mass comm, special education, they are not. Maybe if you study special education, find your way, or if you do anything called education, just find your way to countries like Finland, that education and medical doctors and security are 3 highest paying jobs in countries like Finland. But other than that, yeah, they are not among the top 10 demanding skills or jobs in any emerging country. I say it again. If you have your fact, please bring it and I'll withdraw my sentence.
Wow.
So and this is not about disability. I'm talking on a general scale now, right?
Okay.
We've seen how what journalism have really evolved over the period of time. where
Sure.
people who studied law, for example, can find themselves to go and take a course in journalism, and they can practice journalism with confidence. While we are not saying people who go to school to study mass comm, no, we are not ridiculing the courses. Please get it right here. We're just talking about enhancement. Of course, if you cannot go and study one course and suddenly say you want to go and do one professional course to become a lawyer. No, with due respect to all of those professions, we all need them for us to live and thrive. And I don't think there's any country, any company in Nigeria today that will not have a legal department. But the question you want to ask me, for any big company today, what is the proportion of their legal department to the proportion of the entire organization? Yeah. So you look at the bank, averagely, would you see any bank would have up to 20 or 30 people? Let's even say 30 people in their legal department. I doubt it. I say it again with all sense of sincerity. I doubt if any bank will have 30 people in their legal department. So let's even assume they have 30. I say it again. I doubt if any bank today in Nigeria, I mean among the tier 1 top 10 banks, will have less than 500 to 1,000 staff. Yeah. So if they have about 500 staff, what's the proportion of 30? 10% is just 50. 30 would probably be 3%. And I doubt a bank will have 500 staff and with 30 lawyers. I say it again, the answer will be no. Whereas we know banks that have 2,000, or even a telecom company. You see telecom company is about 2,000 staff. Rarely will they have up to lawyers who are 30 in numbers. And same thing, you rarely will see any big company, telecom, except media, that will have up to 30 people in their comms team.
Yeah.
a large impossibility. For special education, you also ask yourself, of course, our government is not funding that well. But if they thoroughly fund that, the question is, can government even absorb special education in all the classrooms? Again, the answer is probably no. They rather want to train regular teachers to have basic inclusive education and then put in maybe one or two or three special educationists in that school to provide what we call special resources to those teachers who are in the regular classroom. So we need to be realistic and tell ourselves the truth within the context and the confines of the country we find ourselves and the resources available. So what that means is that your disability is not even the barrier now. It's the fact that that course on a general scale, the demand is on the very low side. Yeah. The question I'll ask you, you listen to me. How many times have you demanded for the service of a lawyer in 1 year? And how often do you demand for the service of that lawyer in the past 5 years? Yeah. So I'm not saying their services are not needed. Get me right. It's just like you will never go to a police station and not find people that have cases there. But I'm
True.
just telling you the reality of what life is all about. So the problem continues to be, it's a narrative. People have been told. How many of your teachers who are blind here? How many blind people do you see who are this, who are that? How many persons who have physical disability or deaf that you've seen that are doing this or that? You better just do this. That's what your fellow people have been doing. So sometimes the narrative has turned to a myth that is what people are doing, and then you too must do it. But like I also mentioned, there's also the part that institutions, academic institutions, has also kind of placed some limitation when people want to come and study.
Yeah.
Here, we've heard of a school in the northern part that anybody is coming and have a disability, they will automatically change the course for you and tell you you cannot go beyond that, even though I think they are changing now. So these are some of the issues. We need to deal with it from the secondary school level and also deal with it from the institutional barrier level. But I think the mindset really matters, because sometimes when you really want to do something, even if they deny you, you will tell yourself, I'll go and acquire the skills. Remember, if you look at many of us today, what you want to be, what you later studied, and what you are practicing in life, do that survey with 100 persons. Only maybe 1 or 2 of every 100 person will have the 3. connected. Let's say 5 people, we have the 3 to be the same. So it's not about what you also study in school, it's about the skills. So sometimes start also acquiring different skills. Maybe if you think the institutional barriers is not something you can fight alone, my advice is while you are in the university, why not adding those additional skills? Those top demand, it's not anything. Just go to your Google. Just go to Google. Top 10 demanding jobs. Top 20 demanding jobs in Nigeria. And if you are futuristic, just say uh, the top 10 demanding jobs in the next 5 years. Yeah, the top 10 demanding job in the next 10 years. You're trying to see if by the time I'm out of university, what will still be demand? There are a lot of research out there about that. Then start asking yourself, what are those skills? How could I acquire those skills? Yeah, go to Coursera, go to EDX, go to Allinson. There are many of them. Some of them are free, some of them you need to pay. And that's one thing I must encourage you. Invest in your brain, not just your beauty. Back to you.
Oshé. Hey, that struck me. Okay. Invest in your brain, not just your beauty. Ew. All right. And that is not gender, how do I put it now? Gender specific. It's for everybody, both the men and the women. Men too are also, there are men that likes to be beautiful or handsome. So don't say it's talking to the women folk. Wow. That's actually quite interesting. And this brings me to the last question on this section. Um, you know, as a person with disability, as a champion in this community, and based on the work you do and what you've seen, experiences, both in the employment sector and in the education sector, what advice in terms of specific courses or, yes, courses, discipline, would you say you can, advise a person with a disability in Nigeria to pursue, regardless of if the course is being offered in the university? At least if they can have a guidance, they could say, okay, I want to study maybe online or outside the country. But what advice would you say in terms of professional guidance, career guidance for persons with disability?
All right. I will not list any specific skills. I'll just tell you, like the best thing I'll list tell people, Google. Yeah. Soft
Okay.
skills and technical skills. You will see in terms of soft skills,
Mm,
problem solving, communication,
yeah.
uh, collaboration. These are some little soft skills, critical thinking that you need to
Mm,
find yourself to applying those skills and applying those skills. Because many soft skills are called transferable skills.
skills,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think communications is one of the bane of everything. I
Mm,
think hire somebody who has the attitude, who can express itself. Even if you don't have the technical, I will support you to go and acquire it.
mm-hmm.
I will not hire somebody with technical who does not have the attitude, who
Need
cannot
to.
express.
Mm,
Yeah, so it's important we look at that. Communication is a powerful tool that people need to have, as well as those others. So Google again, top 10. I think another skill that is really important, particularly during COVID, that really became a skill that many companies are looking to have improved. Things like emotional
mm-hmm.
intelligence, social
Intelligence,
intelligence.
yeah.
Yeah, you need to look into that. Technical skills is based on your passion, your area of field. But again,
Mm,
across different board now, project management is becoming something. These are just general courses, yeah, that you then need to have what we call industry-specific experience to balance it. Be it in private, be it in development, even in government, project management is key. Even in your self-employment route, right? You need it. Acquire it and contextualize it to fit your industry specific or the kind of industry you want to work. Data science, data analytics is becoming a big deal, a big deal. I always tell people, if you can't play with data, it is well, in this new era. Don't say because I have my Oga does not know anything about data, but your guy is already an Oga. Keep that in mind.
exactly.
There are certain things that will pave way for your guy that will not pave way for you because of his
Mm,
experience. So acquire those things, yeah. They are simple technical skills, they are generic technical skills, and you can easily contextualize it, whether you find yourself in science, in accounting, in development, in evaluation. Data is very good. So have the data analytics skills, have the project management skills is very important. And there are many of those generic technical skills too that you can kind of have, but I wouldn't want to dive into too much of it. Finally, get professional certificate where possible. Yeah. Don't just take the training and the skills, get a certification in it. Yeah. LinkedIn does some of as simple as if you go to even your LinkedIn, you see some skill sets that you can take tests to test your skills, and yeah, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, Power BI, and many of them. Some your disability you might think, oh, my disability is a limitation. But the more you dig deep, many years back, many of us never thought data, learning Excel and Python might be easy. But we are seeing it now. Yeah. So technology is also breaking those barriers, giving us the limitations, and I mean breaking the limitations. So take advantage of it. That's one thing. And I'll beg you, in the name of anything you believe in, please hone your communication skills, ability to write, ability to express. No matter what you know, if you cannot write it, you cannot express it, I really wondered how you want to show your proficiency in that skills. Yeah, I know demonstration is part of it, but in the world of today, even though demonstration comes in, you need to demonstrate either physically or written or verbally. Yeah, some disability might take away the verbal part, but can you communicate in written? Can you demonstrate it also in person? So you need to invest more. Whatever you know, if you cannot communicate it, it's more as you cannot even do anything. Let me pause there.
Wow. You see, hey, follow the person that knows road. It is very, very important. You talked about skills, owning skills and all that. And I must use this platform, even if as in you did not acknowledge it when I sent it to you, but I will, globally acknowledge now. A very big thank you to Mr. Razak. I know I mean, how would I put it now? He recommended a green digital skills learning for me, which I did take, and I must tell you, was eye-opening. It was marvelous, yes. And that's where I wanted to chip in that when it comes about professional certificate, yes, it is certificated, skills, online skills training, and it was awesome. At the end of it all, yes, I got few better, I got some benefit that was attached to the course, and if not that he recommended that for me, I wouldn't have gotten that. And I would tell you that please do not let your disability limit you. Nothing would limit you except you limit yourself, right? You see him speaking comfortably is because he knows what he's saying and he has been able to prove a point in that level. So at that junction, we're going to the last leg of the program, which is the roosting section. Are you guys seeing what I'm trying to say? Yes, this is where we get to, unleash some things about him, right? And tell us his experience so far. In case you're just joining us, it's still Eagles Perch, where we unscriptively discuss issues that happens in life, right? So this section, let's start with you, Mr. Razak. The first question will be, how do you like to identify yourself as in terms of disability?
I'm a person with disability. Yeah. Even though people will say, don't use the word disability. I don't believe anybody have disability, which is fine. It's not a problem. I understand. We are all limited, and that's where if you said I'm visually impaired, fine. If you said you called me blind, fine. That does not define. That is just my impairment. You are defining me by my impairment. Does not define who I am. I'll keep in mind, your name is Tola, your name is Blessing, your name is Ngozi, your name is Chiamaka. That is just a way of identifying you. Because your name is Grace, does not mean you have the best of the grace of the Lord. And because your name is blessing, does not mean all God's blessing will belong to you. Please get it right. I'm not saying you will not get it. That is
Yes.
your identity. And it does not mean others or us who doesn't bear blessing will not get God's blessing. So you
Yeah.
need to keep that in mind. Because you call me a person with disability, or we say I identified or self-identify as a person with disability. Your definition to disability might mean inability, but that's not my own definition of
Yeah.
disability. However, even if you look at still the definition, it does not define my personality. I have my own personality trait. I have what I want to be. I know where I want to go, and I'm still reiterating and adapting to be where I would love to be, and what I would want to leave as a footprint on the sand of time when I leave this world. But basically, why am I saying all of this? Don't let
Mm.
anybody tell you, oh, you're not a person. It's their own definition. The UN
Yeah.
definition of disability makes it simple. A person with a long-term physical, sensory, or intellectual impairment, and as a result of the interaction with the society, encounter a
Mm-hmm.
barrier that denies him or her access to participate or meaningfully participate in the society. So you simplify it and put it in the mathematics. Impairment plus barrier equals to disability. So
Disability.
maybe you don't experience barrier anymore in your life. Yeah? You don't experience physical barrier anymore. You're a big boy, you fly in a helicopter everywhere you
Yeah.
go.
No
There is
turbulence.
there is color, everything physical, all the physical barriers is not there. No problem. Maybe you don't experience it in terms of communication, your materials are accessible, the website, you
Mm.
have your own special website. Even Microsoft has created your own special website for you, no problem. But remember, you still have that impairment, be it your sight, be it your. So you can try to stick to, oh, I'm visually impaired, I'm hearing impaired, I have physical or mobility impairment. That's fine. But if you have the barrier and you still encounter the barrier, then you have no option but to say you have physical disability, you are blind, and many more. Anyhow, I see more of this as more of semantics, and it's a matter of comfortability, what people choose to, and we must respect that. Yeah. So I self-identified as a person with disability, and other people say, "Are you blind or you are visually impaired?" Feel free; it's your definition. That does not define my final ultimate goal in life. You're only defining my impairment. Let me pause there.
Awesome. 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 Now, at this juncture, if nobody say, at least me, I say you are a successful leader. And being a leader, there will be some characteristics or traits that has helped you gone this far. Can you list like about three traits, three characteristics that has made you go through this, stage till now?
Interesting. I'm still learning though. So you are the one that defined that. Anyhow, this is what I would say. This is what I would say. Hey man, I mean to anyone who is also aspiring that, number one, respect everybody's opinion. You are nobody. Wherever you are nothing. Yeah, respect people's opinion and be humble. Humility is a great virtue. You might not understand it. Be humble. Nobody knows anything. No matter what you know, you will die with it. Keep that in mind. Yeah, you might transfer the knowledge, but after you die, your son or your daughter or your wife cannot bear your certificate though. So calm down. Be humble. Listen to others and respect others. Number two for me, which is very, very important, don't fly alone. Don't grow alone. If you try it, the day you will fall alone. Nobody will be there to grab you. As you move up, don't even think like you are moving up. As you just move on, drag other people. Let's go. Everybody will not follow you. But there's what we call the critical mass. Yeah. The critical mass are those people who would take like, let's take the change. Yeah. So don't grow alone. As you're growing, reach out to others. I always tell people, reach out to others. Don't be the richest guy in your family. Yeah, somebody will be rich in your family. Somebody will have more. But support your siblings, support others, because one day, this world, you are not alone. No. You will need others. Support your colleagues in the work. Support your friends. Yeah, I'm not saying you should support them at the extreme of your life, but try to support others to grow. Opportunity is not meant for one. Transfer it to others. You saw the application, you want to apply a loan. Is it meant for you alone? Because you have access to information, share with others now. Let others to apply. The more people can grow with you, the better you can. Finally, the social capital. And I've always invested on this. Yeah, you need to build your social capital. There's nothing like you having access to certain information and certain opportunities. Those information and opportunities, you will not find all of them. But it's your social capital that will help you. No, there's a statement that says your network is your net worth. But for me, it's more than that too, even though I agree to that. But you really need to think, how do I build a social capital? How do I extend myself? Don't let your disability limit all your friends to people within the disability community. Please take note. I'm not saying you should not mingle with the people in your disability community. But break the cycle. This world is not for a disability world alone, no. It's the mainstream world. Build relationships. Relationships thrives on values, exchange of values, exchange of knowledge, skills, monetary, resources. Build that. When you build a strong social capital, it has a lot it will give you. So let me reiterate. Respect and humility, very important. Respect others, listen to them, be humble. Number two, that I reiterate earlier, as you grow, support others to grow with you. Mentor people, pay it forward. However, if you go, you will not go with a couple. Even with all the knowledge, you will not go with it. Yeah, mentor others, support others to grow. It's a good thing you need to do. Use your power and your influence to support others. And lastly, build your social capital. I think I'll stick to those three. Back to you, Kevin.
Wow, thank you very much. That has actually been awesome. The key Latin into R is S. Respect others, support or mentor others, and build your social capital. Like that's very thoughtful and wonderful. And when you were saying that, mentorship, supporting others, I was just remembering the days of Mr. Razak as the youth leader. NAB, Nigeria Association of the Blind Lagos State. And I was just looking at, his growth, his ladder so far and up until now. And I'm wondering, like so great and awesome to know you. And hey, like they say, we give the flowers when you can smell it. And this is why we are actually doing this. It's very important for us, especially in the disability community. When you said something about mentorship, I remember a lot of, youth like us saying, yes, there are a lot of leaders in the disability community. When it comes to mentorship, they lack that. They want to, like say, gather all the knowledge and, gather. At the end of it all, we, the youth, are the ones struggling to wonder, yes, not that we can actually also research or what have you, but at least there's some level of some data or whatever you may know. I feel that having young people around you, mentoring them, would not like remove one letter from your name. It would rather make you stronger and bolder in your capacity. And I say a very big thank you to that. For that, Mr. Razak. So the second to the last question that I would ask you is, what do you do for fun? Don't say traveling, because I know you travel. What do you do for fun?
Hey, leisure time. I think my leisure time keeps evolving and emerging over a period of time, and I must talk about that. I'm still learning to catch more fun. But I think some of the simple things, yeah, play music. That's important. Hang out with children. I don't want my children to grow up and tell me, so mommy that used to do everything. So I try to find time, hang out, sit down, as much as playing balls, throwing balls at each other, blowing balloons. Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, as much as anything I know I can do to catch fun with them, sit down and even sing some of their regular cartoon songs, Piggy Boo,
Sure.
Coco Melon. Yeah, sometimes you just want to sing the song with them, not because, and sometimes you just want to go online and go and learn it so you can sing with them. It's just for catching fun.
Mm.
Reading books is good for me. Sometimes I see it as my leisure time. Like sometimes some people say, but reading books is still work. You're still working. I say, no. Sometimes it takes you out of you just sit down, read books. That's a key thing for me. At least one book in a month, minimum of two in a quarter. That one is not negotiable. um, I think gradually since last year, I've been paying attention to at least watching movies. Maybe at least one in a month. Netflix, documentaries, at least to kind of just explore. I think those are the basic ones that I would call fun. Football, no time to even follow up with the league and the likes. I would have really wished, but I know I do that before, but Kai, I think I've dropped that for a while now. But anyhow, it keeps evolving. Back to you.
Wow. Awesome. So you see now that no matter where you are, at least there'll be something that just keeps your mind at ease, something that you just like to do once in a while that takes you off work. And yeah, that's nice. You know, when you talked about reading books, I remember I actually created a WhatsApp platform then. Yes, I was a participant. I don't know if that group still exists, where we have to read books at least once a month and we review the book and all of that. Hey,
Yeah,
it's
Kemi, can
all
you still
good.
hear
Yes. Can you hear me?
what the WhatsApp good? Yeah, the WhatsApp still exists. I just wish I can have other people managing it. That seems to be the challenge for me. I know one or few persons to took it. Maybe I will think about it and resuscitate it these days. I know it still exists. It's still there.
Hmm, interesting. That's nice. Okay, so to our final question, which is revolving around our topic so far. Labor market, persons with disability, today's economy. What is your advice to organizations, either public, private, SMEs, on the inclusion of persons with disability in their workforce? This is now, I don't want you to, aside the legal perspective of, yeah, 5%, what other advice would you give to private employers, public employers, self-owned business about the inclusion of persons with disabilities?
I think the first advice I would give to you is that if anyone is listening, there is a business case for inclusion. Just like we all see the beauty of balancing gender and diversity. People will not take action when they know something doesn't have any benefit for their growth. People take actions because of what is in it. And keep in mind, we all have vested interests. As an employer, there's a vested interest. If I take this decision, what's the growth? What does it imply? And how does it add value to our organization? I think that value is very important that we talked about it. The Accenture has done that, what they call the Disability Inclusion Advantage Report. It talks about how companies that are more disability inclusive make a 28% profit margin higher and a 30% net income than those without disability that are not disability inclusive. If you want more, I will code for you. But for sake of time, there's a value for that. Diversity in the workplace brings more innovation, brings more thinking, and helps you to solve more problems, solve difficult and tougher problems because people are help bringing diverse views that can help to manage it. The second part to it, cultural transformation. You might be the leader and you are listening now, and it's not convincing to you, like, okay, maybe we want to take that. But the journey is not just going to be you alone. There's need to transform the entire organization to be more inclusive, disability inclusive. So we need to be specific now, not gender inclusive, disability inclusive. Of course, there are women with disabilities as well. Because every time we talk about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, everybody think more from women, gender, youth, and ethnicity. But there is disability lens across those three pieces that we are missing. So cultural transformation is important, and we cannot do that without training and retraining your staff, building their capacity, ensuring right from the induction, disability inclusion is part of the training, that staff understand the fact that you do not discriminate anybody on the basis of disability. So when people staff are thinking of policies to design in the organization, when their product managers are thinking of how to develop, put their adverts out there, everybody is thinking that how do we ensure that what we're doing is accessible for all? Yeah, because that is who we are as an organization. The third point, which is be my advice to every organization, don't turn your CSR to pure charity. Think out about what we call, every organization is now thinking from the word point sustainability. Yeah, sustainable, responsible sustainability. Think of how your CSR now, if that's what you call it on your organization, how it can help you balance it. Can we start doing mentoring in our organization, mentoring young people with disability? Can we dedicate maybe out of every 10 people we bring in for internship, we want 5? If you're taking NYSC Youth Corporate, can you tell the state NYSC that we really want you to always sell at least 3 out of every 10 core members you're saying to our organization? Yeah, you're paying it forward. Can you ask yourself, as an organization, rather than just throwing money out there, can we pick 10 people in that university in your state and ask them, can we get people with disabilities that are financially disadvantaged? If we sponsor 10 of them in the next 10 years, we'll have 100 of them. Not all of them will come to work for us. And while they are doing that study, what skills can we bring it on board? Can we bring them in for internship every 3 months in a year? Can we bring them for trainee management? These are simple things that you can do. And with that, you are also building capacity of people with disability going into the labor market, be it in the employability pathway, be it in the entrepreneurship pathway. See, you will not understand the power and the opportunity it comes. Just interning in one organization, sometimes just for 6 months, can be all that thing that that person needs to put on his or her CV that will give him opportunity to grow in the next fair future. So they are not asking you to give them permanent jobs. Give them skills, support them with resources, give them the opportunity, build capacity. So don't turn your CSR alone to just when there is a disability day, then you go there because you need the marketing. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. Every organization wants to gain visibility. I want to gain good reputation, but be deliberate and don't play the ball to the gallery. Do the work and walk the talk. Back to you, Kemi.
Wow, awesome. It's been really nice to have Mr. Razak on call, and I must tell you, I had a nice time. And on this note, we are going to give him like the tag that we always give people, an eagle. Yes, he is an eagle. Is a tenacious person. Is someone who nurtures his young one. And by this, by the power conferred on the Queen of the Eagles, I hereby, will you be our prince or our king now? I hereby give you the tag of an eagle. And we say, baby, thank you for coming to the program. Thank you for coming to the program. It has been really nice and having you on the call today to discuss um the International Labour Day. And to all persons with disability who have listened to us out there, please do not. I would advise you to replay this, live interview. Note, jot down something. You will definitely need it. I did that. You will definitely need it. You come back and make the point to say thank you. Okay. And to employers of labor out there, please, please, please do not be sympathetic about inclusion. Rather be empathetic and ensure it meets the today's economy. Okay. Ensure you are having value for value, regardless of the disability, regardless of the gender, or even the location. At this juncture, we say a very thank you to you, to my volunteers who have been on the call. Yeah, who have been on the call for so long, to Joy, who have been signing for the deaf and hard of hearing. We say a very big thank you. To Joseph, who has also joined, and to everyone, we say a very big thank you for joining us on Eagle's Perch. Till next week, when we come your way, it is from me to you, your Royal Highness, Queen of the Eagle. I say bye. Thank you, Mr. Razak, for joining us.
Hold the audio now on mute.
Thank you, Kemi. All right.
Yes.
Catch
All
ya.
right,
Bye.
Yep.
Hold you. Leave meeting button. Give feedback. Leave meeting.